back to our NCAA football win total series. We are finishing up Conference USA. It is the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. And we'll also have our pick for conference champion in this one as well. But let's talk about Western Kentucky. They joined the FBS ranks in 2007 as an independent under David Ellison. 7 wins, then 2 wins, and then he was 0-12 in his first year in the Sun Belt. That brought in Willie Taggart. Willie Taggart grew this team into a bowl team. Bobby Petrino's there for a year. Jeff Brom shows up, 3 straight bowl games. Mike Sanford shows up, has a bowl game, misses in 2018, and then it's Tyson Helton. Tyson Helton has now gone to 5 straight bowl games. Last year, started out 2-0. South Florida and Houston Christian. They lost to Ohio State, then they lost at Troy. They beat Middle Tennessee, then they beat Louisiana Tech on the road. October 17th was the turning point, though. They were upset by Jacksonville State on the road, 17-20. Lost 42-29 to Liberty the next week. Beat UTEP on the road, but then lost 38-29 at home against New Mexico State. They would ultimately beat Sam Houston and FIU to close out, but a team that was expected to contend for the conference didn't even make the conference title game. They would go to the famous Toastery Bowl, win 38-35 in overtime over Old Dominion, giving them an 8-5 record overall. Tyson Helton's back. They have a new offensive coordinator with Willie Friend, and Tyson Summers returns as the defensive coordinator, but there's definitely some turnover for Western Kentucky. Starting at quarterback, Austin Reed is gone. Caden Veltkamp is right now the incumbent. He may not start, though. He was great in the famous Toastery Bowl. Western Kentucky's brought in TJ Finley, who was at Texas State last year. I don't think either of them are going to be quite as good as Austin Reed, but this offense is always great at throwing the ball. They do lose Malachi Corley, which was their top receiver, but Dalvin Smith is back. He caught 50 passes last year. Michael Madison's back. He missed last year. And they bring in Alabama State's Kession Johnson. The offensive line should be solid this year. They bring in ULM transfer Stacey Wilkins. Marshall Jackson's back on the other side. They do have some 2 good guards. They are definitely a run-blocking line, which is unlike normal for Western Kentucky. They have their top running back, though, in Elijah Young, 474 yards last year. But not a huge running offense typically for Western Kentucky. The defense was good at times last year. They got torched by Ohio State. They got torched by Liberty. And honestly, Old Dominion did some pretty good damage for them. They have to replace some pass rushers, though. Their top sack guy was a linebacker. He's gone. The defensive line didn't get many sacks last year. They do bring in July River Harvey. He's a nice nose tackle. They have a decent rotation on the defensive line. Linebackers are going to have some new parts. Sebastian Benjamin's going to be on the outside, though. He comes back. He has to be that pass rusher. In the middle, it's Rashawn Hodges, who will be a good run stopper. The transfer portal is where they got most of their secondary, minus Upton Stout. Upton Stout's back at the corner. He was great last year with 8 pass breakups. He also missed half of the year. They bring in a JUCO transfer for the other corner, an Ole Miss transfer, a Texas A&M transfer, and a Nicholls State transfer for their safety spots. Really, though, the defense just has to stop the run and make sure they don't give up long passes. Overall, though, Western Kentucky is probably going to take a step back this year. We look at their schedule. They open up week 1 at Alabama. That's going to be a loss. They should get Eastern Kentucky. They'll beat Middle Tennessee State on the road. And then I do believe they'll beat Toledo at home on September 21st. September 28th, they're at Boston College. A little bit of a toss-up. Probably a loss, though. Then they have the bye before having UTEP on October 10th at home. That should be a win. They get Sam Houston on the road and then Western Kentucky at home, or not Western Kentucky, Kennesaw State at home. Both wins most likely before another bye. At New Mexico State, November 9th, Louisiana Tech the 16th. Those will both be wins. And then it gets very tough. At Liberty the 23rd, probably a loss. If that's the case, November 30th is going to be massive. They're at home against Jacksonville State. If they win that game, they're probably going to the Conference USA title game. If they lose that game, they will miss out. When we look at the schedule, though, I personally see a team that's probably around 8 wins. They're going to get Eastern Kentucky. I think they get Middle Tennessee. I think they get Toledo. I think they get UTEP. They should get Sam Houston and Kennesaw, New Mexico State, and Louisiana Tech. They have 4 extremely winnable games. I don't see them making that step though with a new quarterback, with not the best pass rushers, not the great defense, to really get that 9th win, which would be Jacksonville State at the end of the year, or upsetting Boston College. They're definitely not going to beat Alabama. I don't think they're going to beat Liberty. Really, this should be an 8-win team. Their ceiling, I think, is 9, maybe 10 on a very, very outside chance. But 8 really should where they should end up. When we look across the board, most places are sitting at 7.5 for the win total. There's varying between favoring the under or over. One book has it at 7 with an over favored, obviously. We're going to take the over 7.5. I do think this is an 8-win team. We get it at plus 100 here. The over 7.5 is plus 100 at Bet Rivers. We also need to pick a conference champion. Without a doubt, Liberty's the prohibitive favorite. They should win the conference. I think if they get to the conference championship game, they're probably going to win it. But there's always a chance that you get upset in a big conference championship game. Taking them at minus 190 is just not worth it for a conference championship future. So really, we're looking at the game on November 30th between Jacksonville State and Western Kentucky. I think Jacksonville State can pull the upset here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take a future on Jacksonville State to win the conference at plus 650. I'm throwing a free bet on it, but it's definitely worth it. If they can get into that game, they have a chance. We're probably going to have a chance to hedge out, that last week of the season if we really want to. But we're going to take Jacksonville State plus 650. We'll be back next time starting the AAC. We start Army next. If you like this content, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, give us a comment, and tell me who you want to see in the AAC. We'll see you next time.